Oh. 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 Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. I offer my appreciation to all of you for your discipline. By the time I completed chanting Om 3 times, there was already 70 seekers, at least cameras, in our community with cameras on. Your punctuality, your openness is a sign of your discipline and fear of me. This morning, we complete 1 week of Meaningful Mornings in our 7th semester. Today, we will complete 20 days of 2022 already. In the Ramayana, time is described as Sri Rama's arrows. Sri Rama's arrows are constantly being released. That is time that is ticking away or being taken from us. In Meaningful Mornings, our aspiration is not to focus on the arrows, but to focus on who's releasing those arrows. Not to focus on time, but the one who's beyond time. And if we can internalize this, we will become more efficient with our secular lives. We will become more fearless in our sacred lives. A strong message from the Bhagavad Gita is to be freed of likes and dislikes, raga and dvesha. If one is freed of their, in the last verse, aversion and attachment, that means you are free of the dependency on that experience. When you interact with someone, what is your experience? It's not of their skin color. It's not of their blood pressure. If you like them, that's a fine experience. If you dislike them, that's an awful experience. Yes? So that experience is really of likes and dislikes, but if I'm freed of likes and dislikes, that means I have renounced that experience. Where do experiences come from? Equipments, particularly our minds. So if I've renounced the experience, that also means I've renounced the equipment. And where do equipments come from? Ego. If I've renounced the equipment, that also means I've renounced the ego. All the dots are connected for everyone. Where are you to renounce all of this? You are to practice renunciation where you are tested. If I'm asleep, I have no likes and dislikes. There's nothing to renounce. when I'm involved with articles, beings, circumstances, that's where I'm tested with likes and dislikes. That is where renunciation is to be practiced. Many of you have the name Pankaja, or you know someone whose name is Pankaja. For those who are familiar with Sanskrit, what does that name mean? Lotus, lily, flower, etc. The opening of this word, Panka, means mud, slush. And Ja means the one who's born from that mud or slush. So technically, that is a lotus. But if we reflect on this, that is how we are to practice sannyasa. In the mud and slush and dusting of our daily lives, from that, we are to renounce that within and not be dependent on experiences, equipments, ego. Offering one more insight into likes and dislikes. Most of the time we are taught not to have likes and dislikes. Eat whatever food comes to you, be with whatever person comes to you. But reorienting this to, it is not just about liking and disliking, but living by being liked and being disliked. We have this expectation that all should like us. We have this expectation that if someone dislikes us, we have to tend to that. People are people. They're struggling with their own likes and dislikes, and they're projecting that onto you. And now you're getting lost in being liked and being disliked. That expectation. This expectation comes from ego. Those who are living to be liked, that's a superiority complex, yes. Those who are tending to, how come that person dislikes me? Why did they dislike this decision? That's an inferiority complex. Approach this from both ways in terms of likes and dislikes, not to project them, and for those not to be projected on you, meaning don't depend on that. This is a very anti-social media, anti-metaverse message, isn't it? We continue. Shri Krishna is repeating this thought, so this is clear for us. Verse 4. Sankhya yoga pratak balaha pravadanti na panditaha ekam apyastita samyak ubhayor vindate phalam. First quarter. Sankhya yoga is describing, or is another word for, the theme of chapter 5. Karma sannyasa yoga, which is living by doershiplessness. Okay? The second word, yoga, is describing karma yoga, which is to live by dedication. Pritak, which means distinct or different, balaha, children. Children feel that chapter 3 and chapter 5 are different. Children feel that karma yoga and karma sannyasa yoga are different paths. So this is completely clear. I want all of you who are not reading Puja Swami Chinmayananda's commentary to ensure that you read the commentary for this verse. Tomorrow, when I review this verse, I am going to read it, portions of it, so that there's this clarity. Next quarter, Pravadanti na panditaha. Children speak of these differences, but not the wise. The wise know there is a singular path with different sections. There's a beginner section, there's an advanced section. So how do you know where on the path you are? Obviously, the advanced section. It is facilitated by your awareness. Those who are more focused, careful, vigilant, that in action is they're intentional. So before they do whatever they're doing, their intention is less expectations, less ego. While they're doing this, same awareness. After this is done, same awareness. So those who are highly intentional, they're further in this path. Those who forget, they're earlier in this path. It is facilitated by your awareness. It is not by time. It is not by the color of your hair, but how intentional you are in every experience. Ekam api astitaha samyak. To be established, well established in any part of this path. The implication is it will naturally lead to the next part of this path. Giving you a different way to reflect on this. Karma yoga is when you are a part-time seeker. What makes you part-time? Because sometimes you forget to be intentional. That vichara is compromised by bhoga. When one develops the specific virtue of vairagya, vairagya means to be independent of experiences. That I know people liking me and disliking me are not going to lead to my joy. That's vairagya or independence. When you have this virtue, 66%, or let's say 67%, 2/3 developed, you will know that you've evolved from karma yoga to karma sannyasa yoga now. You're not lost in expectations. Now you can start to work on ego. You have that clarity, that conviction, that confidence to not be shaken by the surface. So you're working on that which is deeper. Last quarter, ubhayoho vindate phalam. These paths, though they're one, lead to the same phalam or ends. So wherever you are on this path, be there. Be intentional. And this means will lead you to the ends. This whole evolution is natural. Makes sense. Think of it. If you quieten your mind, that really means that you've reduced your expectations. With that checked off, you can go deeper into what's the next deepest equipment? The intellect. You can start to work on stilling your intellect. What is that? That is the silencing of this ego or doership. All of that is expressed in the intellect. But if you don't have a quiet mind, You can never get to that facet of your evolution to still the intellect. Is that clear for everyone? That this has to be practiced serially. And that requires a lot of intention and a lot of humility. Because every one of us feels, I am intentional. I'm going to be enlightened tomorrow. I'm going to stop being part of meaningful mornings. But are you? On a daily basis, I'm trying to make this practical. Create time for you to observe you and your experiences. That way you know where you are on this path. In general, be grateful. Those who are grateful have less expectations, less ego. Much more to share about this verse. I will tomorrow, from inspiration to application. Your recent application was for you to flip a coin. Yes, whenever you have to make a light decision. How many of you tried? We don't have coins anymore. We use our iPhones and Bitcoin and so on. I had read, Acharya Shankara describes our attachments as being a silkworm. A silkworm is an entity where that thread comes from that silkworm, and who gets trapped in that thread? That same entity. We live life too seriously. And who gets trapped in that? We do. We're attached to our own ideas. We're attached to our disagreements with people. Flipping a coin helps us to let it go. Here is your application for this morning. I've shared a lot about being more aware, being more intentional. Your application is, you have to go to our Chinmaya Nagra website, to the community section, to our Prithvi Seva Sangha. In that, I want you to read our article for this month. I want you to reflect on the exercise given, which is determining your carbon footprint. So read the article, reflect by using the carbon footprint tracker or analysis. And then I want you to reflect, you write what your number is. You reflect on your lifestyle, your family's lifestyle. That way we can all share in how we can all be more intentional with helping Mother Earth. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be happiness.